we're going to begin this hour out of St. George, Utah, where two YouTubers, Franke and her business partner, Jodi Hildebrandt, they were supposed to appear in court today for a status hearing. We have our very own Sierra Gillespie, and she is in St. George, Utah right now. So let's check in with her. Sierra, what is going on out there? What happened to the hearing?
Yeah, Terry, this morning we were expecting to see both Hildebrandt and Franke here at the Washington County Courthouse in St. George. It was expected to be a bail hearing, but just hours before that hearing began, we were told by officials that it had been postponed. Just in the past hour, I spoke with Douglas Terry, and he's the attorney for Jodi Hildebrandt. I asked him why this hearing was postponed, and he said because of copious amounts of evidence in this case. There's just too much to go through. Originally, though, the hearing was expected to be a bail hearing. So Judge John Walton would have determined whether Hildebrandt, Franke, or both were eligible for bail. And if they were and it was posted, they could have been released as early as this afternoon. However, they're still being held at the Washington County Jail because this hearing never happened. Also at the hearing expected today, it was possible that Judge John Walton would have set a preliminary hearing date. And that, of course, would be to determine whether there's enough probable cause to move forward in this case. But there was speculation that there would be pushback in that end of things because the prosecution was asking for more time. That's what's interesting, is that this hearing was postponed because of all of the information. Now, I mentioned that I spoke with Terry, who is the attorney for Hildebrandt. I asked him why this hearing was postponed and whether he wanted to speak on camera. And what he told me is he was uncomfortable speaking on camera because he still didn't know that much about the case, which really goes to show you the amount of evidence that we have here. 3 weeks ago is when they were arrested. Terry, you spoke about it just moments ago when that 12-year-old boy broke free just about 20 minutes away from where we are right now. So that's been about 3 weeks that both sides have had to go through all of this evidence. It just goes to show you just how much there is in this case. As of right now, there's no official hearing date set for the future, but the motion that was filed stipulated that it should be set after October 5th. So that's almost 3 weeks away from right now, but still no official date set.
Well, that's all very interesting. I do want to ask you just a couple of questions. If they actually did not go for the hearing today, do you think that they will try to get another bail hearing? Maybe, obviously, they will go straight to the preliminary hearing, but I'm sure that their attorneys want them to be out of the, jail at the moment.
I would think, and of course this is speculation, but that Hildebrandt and Franke aren't used to the conditions that they would have in a county jail and would assume that both of them are hoping to be eligible for bail. So I would think that defense attorneys at this time are pushing for a hearing like that so that their clients could potentially be released. But when I spoke to Terry just moments ago, he didn't make any mention of that.
Exactly. All right. And the other issue I was wondering about is everyone was expecting this bail hearing. Were there a lot of spectators out there? What happened to them? It looks a little bit quiet behind you.
Yeah, it's really interesting that you bring that up. Right now, there isn't much action here at the courthouse, but I arrived at about 8 o'clock Mountain Time this morning, and that was several hours before the hearing at 11 o'clock. Already, there were people who were inside, a handful of people from different stations, networks, reporters, but also a handful of local people who've been following the case and even knew about the Franke and Hildebrandt situation prior to the arrest, back when it was 8 passengers on the YouTube page, or whether it was Jodi Hildebrandt and the connections videos that she made with Franke. So there is a lot of local interest in this case, and people were planning to sit in on the hearing.